Hello, this is Christ in Fashion, and I'm your host, Faith Johnson. And today I have an amazing guest, Ozzy, the founder of a clothing brand, Enreti, menswear brand. He's shown at fashion shows like New York Fashion Week. Hi, Ozzy. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem, Faith. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Thank you. And yourself?
Yes, so well, we're doing okay, as best as one can during these times.
I can imagine, yeah.
So you have a clothing brand. Tell us about your brand.
No problem. So I'm Osborne, and I own a fashion brand, an African fashion brand, menswear brand called Enreti. So it stands for Every Respect Earned Now Triumphs Indefinitely. That name actually comes from myself because I'm someone that tries to ooze respect and confidence, when we wear pieces and as a person. So yeah.
And so what is it about fashion that drew you to get into fashion and create and make pieces and design?
Yeah, I mean, it's fashion. I mean, it's a major thing for me because I actually went back to Nigeria at a young age, at 14. And an auntie of mine actually owned a fashion boutique in the heart of Lagos.
Wow.
So I just used to watch her sew, help out customers. And at the time, I didn't actually realize it was actually becoming a part of me. Obviously, at the time, a lot of people were playing football and, watching sports, but I would just be actually helping my aunt in the shop. And then when I came back in 2007, it was, after staying there for about 3 years, I was able to sort of just help other people with fashion ideas. And I come from a creative background as well. My little brother's a graphic designer, he's an artist. So I just sort of kind of got into it, looking at the African fashion, and I started off with just helping people slim jeans. And from there, I've just never looked back. I've just always been creative and got myself into fashion.
One of the things I've found actually is with the training courses that I run where I work, a lot of the young men that we work with, the reason why they want to do the courses is because they have a family member, an auntie, a parent who has a sewing machine at home, and they're kind of using the materials and they want to learn how to cut and make. So it's kind of been passed down to them kind of from their family and from their parents. So you've done New York Fashion Week in the past.
Yes,
so
I have, yeah.
how have you found and how was participating in London Fashion Week and New York Fashion Week?
It was amazing. I mean, great. My first time going to New York, and it was such a great experience, being able to put together a collection to actually go on these shows. And, obviously I was nervous at first, but, it's something that you have to push the narrative of you have to believe in your brand. So it was an amazing, I met so much designers, so many people that have creative ideas that inspired me from countries like Senegal, Ghana, and these are countries that, they're making amazing pieces. So New York was a very good experience. London Fashion Week was a fantastic experience. Being able to meet other designers with creative minds, but also showcasing the African authenticity on that platform. But also, we also went to Lagos Fashion Week, which was, that's where, just back home for me. It's a major part of my life, like we just discussed. And it was just amazing to actually go out there and showcase that on that kind of level. So the fashion world is just amazing to just hit all these hubs.
And so as a Christian man who has a collection, working in fashion, how for you have you kind of been able to stay true to your faith and your belief whilst, I guess, working in an industry which is very much known as, being maybe not so holy. And so how have you been able to kind of cut the balance between staying true and staying firm on your beliefs and working in an industry such as fashion?
That's a very, very good question in today's world.
Absolutely.
I think it boils down to home training. So things that my mother would have brought me up in a cultural, religious type of background, know where I'm coming from, but also praying and fasting. That's something that's very key to me.
Amen.
Giving me the guidance sometimes, because sometimes you get really lost in the world and you might just get lost with the thoughts of social media. But just having that prayer and fasting kind of session, not even telling anybody, just between yourself, knowing that this is a sacrifice that I want to make between myself and God, and I just need to hear your voice. I just need to hear you speak to me, like my guidance. And, you know, there's things that's happened to me in my life that's, you know, I've said to myself, you know what, everything is supposed to get to this journey. And just blocking out the noise, really, and just seeing, you know, what kind of collections I want to put out, you know, not trying to promote the wrong idea of things, you know, but also keeping a balance of, you know, not upsetting anybody as well, because at the end of the day, you must respect everyone and not judge. So I think that's where the sweet balance comes from, in that respect, and, you know, try to be nice and cater to everybody and everybody's needs. And like I said, once again, just praying and fasting.
I think you've said something really interesting there around kind of not putting out the wrong message. And so, you know, in a sector which is like fashion, which is, you know, very lucrative.
Yes.
And God absolutely has something to say.
Of course.
And during a time as what we are in now,
Yep.
how do you ensure and know that you're putting out the right message?
Yep.
And what does the right message mean to you?
I think the right message to me means, you know, just because you're a Christian, there's nowhere in the Bible that says you're not allowed to dress well. I mean, when we go to church, you put your best dress on to actually look amazing in the church. You know, even the pastor, from the ushers, everybody's uniformed. Everybody wants to look good. You want to look your best on the Sunday in a service. So I think there's no narrative that actually says, you know, you can't look good. And the whole point of Enreti is to actually promote an African, you know, diaspora to everyone, but at the same time, look good. You know, back home where I'm from in Nigeria, on a Sunday, we wear we'd wear the best sort of kaftan.
Traditional kind of attire.
Exactly, and we will just actually wear that on Sunday, and it's just an amazing feeling. Get to take a picture, and, you know, just being with that family, that just gives you that sense of purpose before you go home and wear your tracksuit, obviously. But it just gives you that sense of purpose, and it's just always something that I feel like, you know, dressing well is a form of good manners. So that's just something that the kind of message that we're trying to put across.
And now, as the society is moving forward, and African print and African styles, and it's becoming very popular.
Yes.
And, you know, we're seeing it in collections of the luxury brands.
Yes.
And so, you know, even though there's many brands that have been, you know, I mean, African print is so traditional. It's been since the beginning of time. And so what are your opinions around kind of now the popularity of traditional cloth and prints in the mainstream luxury collections? And how do you still, as a brand, stay relevant and kind of cutting edge amongst all the other brands that are out there?
That's a good question. The funniest thing, I'm going to be biased right now, because this whole sort of boxing us into Ankara print, I feel like it's the narrative has got to stop in a way, because people just showcase Africa as just having African prints, and some of these prints or Ankara are actually from Holland. They're not actually African print, you know, and I feel like it's kind of one-dimensional. Hence why at Enreti, when I started and I did my research, I actually didn't go into the whole Ankara print. We do have a few pieces that are Ankara print, but I tried to showcase that you can actually advance the technology of the materials. So all our fabrics are sort of one tone, two tones, like nude colours, something that you can wear for an event and not just feel, you know, so some Ankaras are a bit loud, some are a bit quiet, some are a bit simple. So it's about staying relevant in a sense of, you know, trying to adapt to times, trying to look at different trends, research. You know, we have fashion, you know, we have fashion magazines, you have Instagram. So it's about going on there and seeing, you know, you see your Christian Dior, you see your Louis Vuittons, you know, you're looking at all these brands and sort of kind of understanding what kind of trend sits into your kind of relevant, and just trying to sort of make your own foot imprint into that actual fabric rather than just sticking to Ankara. Because I feel like the narrative of actually having an Ankara print is sort of left behind. And how many times can you really wear it? I think we've got this narrative as well of how many times can you wear it? If you wear it like 3 times, you probably wear it 3 times in the year, you'll be like, oh, everyone's seen it. You know, fashion moves so quick. Like, so you can have something in the morning and something could be gone by literally this evening. Yeah. Like, so it's a case of trying to adapt with, you know, simple products. You know, just fashion is so simple if you want it to be. So just, you know, look at the trends and sort of look at fabrics, and I think you will actually stay consistent with that.
And how have you found kind of running a menswear brand?
It's had its challenges. It's been very difficult. Obviously, this is my 5th year running this brand. Thank you very much. It's my 5th year running it. Obviously, we faced a lot of obstacles. A lot of people don't see the sacrifice and hard work that actually goes in behind the production. And at one point, I was actually burnt out because I was just doing the emails, I was doing the production, I was, sourcing, and I was just
wearing 50 hats.
Literally, it was crazy.
Everything.
Like I just thought I was Superman, at some point. And when you have a business like that as well, you sort of become attached to it. It becomes a baby to you, and it's very hard to sort of delegate tasks because you feel like they can't do it like me. But I think at a point when you start realizing you're burnt out mentally, and it's something that you really want to you want it to grow with, 2 heads are better than one, and you need a team to get to where you need to get to. So I think little by little I started releasing and started delegating, and it's made things so much easier for me. And it's also allowed me to be more open-minded, be creative with different things rather than just sticking to like an anchor print. And also going to all these different countries as well gives me a different insight into the kind of fabrics they use, the kind of, even just from the language, it's just amazing to see different menswear platforms on that level, because I just feel like there's so many brands at the moment that showcase so much exclusive pieces that literally, I think I went to Paris. That was my first time in Paris as well. And
I do love Paris.
It's amazing.
It
is so amazing. Like just the buildings, everything about it is amazing. And there's just so much, that francophone sort of language, just hearing them speak and just like the passion and just understanding their fabrics and the way they even wove it. It's amazing. I didn't even know that. It's like, it felt like I was sitting under a rock. And, you've got the Les Sapeurs, which are, they're from Congo. So, looking at things like that, it kind of gives you an insight on how to sort of, create and, run a menswear brand and just keep going. Just don't stop. Just keep pushing yourself and give yourself a break. That's what I'd say. Give yourself a major break.
And so what is it that so you went through those testing seasons and pretty much endured challenging periods.
Yeah.
And so what do you feel kind of God was really taking you through those seasons? And what did you learn from those periods? Because it's not easy running your own business.
It's not easy. It's not.
And so what is it that you felt God was doing with you and through you during those testing periods running your brand?
Oh man, like I said, God.
Where do you begin?
Where do I begin? I mean, I've got 2 sort of testimonies that I don't think I've even shared with people. Not a lot of people know this. And I feel like first of all, it's humbled me. It's allowed me to sort of be myself, be humble, be creative, but also because I feel like living in this world, you don't want to be in a position where you're pretending to be someone else. So it's given me a sense of purpose, a sense of belief that, okay, God is working with me, I'm alive today. And there's testimony I'm going to give a situation that happened to me, and I knew that God was working in my life with this. And so in 2018, so I had to go to Lagos Fashion Week. Now, they sent me some models from Lagos, and I wasn't really too sure if they was going to fit, and I wasn't really confident how the look, and I was going on such a big stage, and I prayed to God, and I sort of fasted as well, and I spoke to one of my best friends. I was like, oh bro, I'm going into this Lagos Fashion Week, I'm not too sure. And he's always said to me, like, from the day I started it, I told him, he was like, listen, one day everyone's going to know your name, like they're going to call you Mr. Enreti. At that time, everyone still calls me Ozzy, but they love to call me Mr. Enreti. I don't like the whole like claiming Mr. Enreti, but the whole part of it was he told me that, and I saw a model that I liked in Nigeria, and he was like, he's a Nollywood actor. So in Nigeria we have Nollywood actors, and I just liked when he was wearing something similar to what we create, and I just liked it. It was probably like his, I don't know, 8th post, and I've just liked it. He gets thousands of likes. He literally comes onto my page, likes all my pieces of Enreti.
Oh wow!
And then he adds me on Snapchat, and he messaged me. He was like, "Your stuff is amazing."
Wow.
So and so, and I was shocked because I was thinking like, "This is a Nollywood actor."
You saw me, yeah.
Yeah, like literally. And the funniest thing is, a few years before that, we actually took a picture, but he didn't remember. We took a picture in London Fashion Week, but he didn't remember. I was just amazed to see him because he's a Nollywood actor, and I was like, I know this is going to be very cheeky, but I'm coming to Nigeria in about 2 weeks. Like, would you mind being my main model? Like, I've got a very exclusive piece. And he just opened it, he didn't reply. And I was like, oh, God, I shot myself in the foot. Like, oh my God, like, I shouldn't have been too forward. I was so nervous. And he replies at like 1 a.m. He's like, of course, sure, like, I'll give you my measurements, my telephone and my address. I remember going to the living room, like, mum, look. And
you received favour.
Yeah, it was just, and then that's not even to top it all off. So we went to Lagos, cut a long story short, went to go meet him, and I told him that these are the models that I have. And he was like, no, you can't. I'm going to call all my friends that are in Nollywood, all my friends that are in Big Brother Africa, and I'm going to get them to model your pieces. Wow. And I was like, what, do you want me to pay?
And doing a show, it's not easy.
It's
doing
not,
a fashion show.
Especially back home.
Just with, like, the collection and getting things together, doing the models.
It's crazy. This is everything I was doing. So I had to pick the models, make sure they got the right fit, right look. And he literally picked all of his friends. And, you know, he got basically an all-star cast for me. And literally, I remember going to the show and they were just like, hold on, this guy's come from London, he's got an all-star cast coming. And I was a bit gassed. I was like, whoa, like, wow. And it literally, and the amazing thing about where I knew God was really real in my life is that all the pieces fitted. I didn't need to do no alterations, nothing. Everything just fitted like a glove. And my mum was there as well. So that was the first time my mum had seen a fashion show. And literally, I went out there and I was shaking. And like, I could just hear the crowd screaming and like, well, this is amazing. Obviously, I've got Nollywood actors. This was no plan of mine. I did not plan to do that. And literally, as soon as it finished, I started crying. Yeah. I just broke down and started crying. Like, that overwhelming feeling of joy, like I was just crying, and they were like, calm down. Like, I was like, no, you don't know what this means to me. Like, you know, obviously it just made me believe that I can do something and God is working in my life. There's other testimonies, but for me, that was an amazing one. I just want to say thank you to Saruti, because he's a humble person, and, you know, he's someone that, you know, he's just a humble person, man. He helped me so much, and, you know, he was a pivotal part of the brand. And that's, for me, that is God working through him to myself. So, because
for people that don't understand or even work within fashion, and just all that it takes to put on a show and participate in a show with other brands, and making sure that, you know, your work is ready, and like dealing with the models, making sure the models are right for your collection.
Yes.
And, you know, just, it's even a testament to me that God really spoke to you in a way that he knew he would reach you.
Yes.
And the fact that, you know, you kind of cried and it touched you, because doing a fashion show is you know, it's hard work.
It's hard work. And if you pull it off, it's like, I mean,
the best thing in the world. It's fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's really just a kind of a testament of how God is very much active within the workplace. And when he has given us, you know, creative talents, business ideas, that he really wants to participate and get involved, just as long as we open ourselves to 100%. Allow him in. So have you ever shared your faith within the workplace, at events or fashion shows, or even just at work in general? Definitely. I think for me personally, I think everyone that knows me as well is that I'm someone that likes to inspire people and try to motivate people. I always try to, you know, send videos to people and just try to tell them that, you know, never to give up on themselves, and try to push faith onto them, you know, just believing in themselves. So I'm a very big character about that. That's something that it's been inside of me from a very young age. Obviously, I think it's only recently when I've been growing up, I've tapped into it fully, and I've started to understand that, hold on, like, you've actually got a gift inside of you that can actually help people. Like, sometimes I see people struggling with certain things, like whether it be like financially, like job loss or anything, just it's something emotional, and something inside of me just wants to sort of like tell them to watch this video, or like read this book, or, you know, sort of just, I don't know, I just feel like I'm a helper. And, you know, obviously I can't help everyone, but the people that come with that, you know, sort of complain and say, I try my best to sort of, you know, point them in the right direction, whether it be a Bible verse or, you know, going to watching sermons online, just to give them that boost and motivation, never to like give up in whatever situation they're going through. And what would you say has been maybe one of your biggest challenges?
Ooh. Biggest challenges.
Which one?
In the brand itself.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest challenges is sort of just, you know, organizing the whole business as itself. And so we have something called Enreti Weddings that is a sub brand of the Enreti brand itself. And Enreti Weddings, when I first started it, one of the biggest challenges was sort of, you know, just making sure everybody has the right fit, because I used to do like, you know, 10, 12, even up to 15 groomsmen. So just making sure that it's the right fit, it's what they want, it's the right color. You know, I've had challenges where, you know, yes, I've got the fit wrong at one time, but these were in the early days, and, you know, something that I sort of sat down and, you know, sort of said to myself, what can I do to make this process easier for myself? Like, how can I give them a service that sort of oozes Enreti? And, you know, I opened up a space earlier last year, obviously before the pandemic, and, you know, I gave them a 5-star luxury service. So when they would come in, I'd measure them. Yes, you know, I really wanted to go for it. Like, I really wanted to go for it. I was like, you know what, nothing is going to stop me. So literally when they came in, you know, I had helpers as well that I would literally take down all their measurements, all 15 of them, you know, and, you know.
It's a real experience.
Yes, just giving them that nice custom experience, you know, whether it be whatever they want to drink, and just sort of like having that personal touch. So I think one of the major challenges is not being in touch with the brand. And then I think throughout my years, now this is my 5th year, I've realized that, you know, you actually need to have a personal touch. You need to actually be in touch with people's emotions, the customers, also the team. Like, how do you treat the team? Like, how do you motivate them? How do you inspire them? What do you do? Are you someone that sits on your backside and sort of just doesn't do anything? Do you talk to them? Do you motivate them? So they need to see you doing something. And, you know, if they see that you're willing to do something, that sort of just inspires throughout the whole team. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges, just trying to can never get it perfect, but get it right enough for the customer to feel like they have a luxury service. At the end of the day, Enreti is a luxury brand. So, yeah.
So in today's day and age, we have the wonders of technology.
Yes.
So how have you now and will continue to incorporate technology and the use of the different apps that are available, the different social media platforms that are available?
Yeah.
How do you incorporate that into your clothing brand?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. You know, today's world is full of technology. And like I said earlier on, we opened up a space earlier last year, which obviously because of COVID, we had to, you know, sort of let it go. I plan to have actually a website, maybe like 3 years time. The COVID sort of forced me to actually open an e-commerce site.
I was going to say, why are you waiting for 3 years?
Yeah, I know. You know what it is? I was just a bit like, you know, we're not ready for, you know, production. There's so many factors behind it, but I just felt like we wasn't ready at that point. And I guess this COVID was a blessing in disguise for some people. I also, you know, I know some people went through a lot as well. So, but also it was a blessing in disguise for the brand itself. It allowed me to, you know, go into e-commerce. I started creating collections. So it sort of brought out the fashion designer in myself. And then using, you know, things like TikTok, you know, using Reels, you know, I think that's where fashion is sort of going into. Now people want to watch, everybody's at home now. Yeah. Obviously it's nice to have a great image, but we're in lockdown at the moment. So no one's going to have the fantastic sceneries of going to the beach anymore and everything. So everyone wants to watch videos. They want to watch like 20, 30, 10-second videos, just showcasing your piece. You'll be surprised at how, you know, how many people this can reach. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people will archive this because at the end of the day, we're not going to be in lockdown forever. We're going to push through this. And, you know, they will see a piece and they'll be like, you know what, I'm going to get those shorts when it's summer. I'm going to get that, you know, I'm going to, you know, keep my connection with this brand. So I think right now it's about building awareness, and that technology through Instagram, through Twitter, you know, has allowed me to sort of, you know, promote myself on a bigger scale. And, you know, you've got things that just sort of, you've got Facebook ads, that, you know, just, you know, help you with like targeting audiences. And so I think these are all great technology uses, and it's something that I feel like all fashion brands should sort of start taking note of. We're trying to move into like a 3D space right now, so that would be good.
And so where do you see the future of your brand?
So Enreti, I feel like obviously at first, when we first started, I saw ourselves in stores and But I feel like right now it's just about sort of focusing on the e-commerce, you know, sort of incorporating women's wear to it.
Really?
Yeah, it's gonna come. It's gonna come very soon, very, very soon. And just expanding the brand into like even things like we've got loungewear coming up very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So we're gonna start doing pajamas and, you know, accessories. So these are things that I think in the future will become a whole brand and sort of cater to everyone. Lifestyle, thank you very much. So we'll cater to everyone and everyone's needs. But yeah, we'll just keep going and pushing and see where God takes us.
Well, thank you so much for joining the show.
No problem.
And we will certainly look forward to seeing all that Enreti begins to bring out over the years.
No problem. We look forward to seeing that.
Brilliant. God is so good, and it is important to give him thanks always for what he has done for us, the blessings that he has given us. Remember, not only has he blessed us, but called us to be a blessing to others too. No matter the field you are in or what role you play, be a blessing and share the goodness of God. You have been watching Christ in Fashion. Until next time, goodbye.